Man, I really, really, really hope this game is actually good. And I know, based on Pokemon Legends Arceus, we're trending in the right direction when it comes to games like these open world and exploration, just the entertainment value of Legends Arceus itself. Even though I only did one playthrough, that playthrough had about 150 hours at this point in time, especially for someone who likes to 100% games through and through. It was a pretty fun game, and I'm really glad I got to play something like that. And it's just a testament to see like how Pokemon could be in the near future, especially when there's a Nintendo Switch 2 that supposedly it's going to get presented this year. I'm going to assume it's going to get released next year to coincide maybe a big game release like Pokemon or maybe another Nintendo franchise that might be trying to present its future games in Nintendo Switch 2 or Pro, whatever it's going to be. But I do have high hopes for Pokemon Legends ZA because right now Game Freak or whoever's in charge of making Pokemon games nowadays, it just seems to me like the value that you get from buying these games and being entertained by them, it's really not that great. And considering the track record of Pokemon games on Nintendo Switch, yeah, there's been hills and valleys, but I feel like the valleys have been way more negative. Like Generation 8, Sword and Shield, if you're new to Pokemon, you think, oh my God, mind blown, all that stuff. Sure. But when you've been someone like me who's been playing Pokemon since the Game Boy Color and seeing the big transition from 2D to 3D and seeing the retrospective points of these games just not aging very well, I feel like personally, like the Nintendo Switch era has been marred by quite a few things. I mean, Generation 8, we all know Dexit. That E3 presentation they made for Sword and Shield was just basically it was the spark that created the outrage of why is Pokemon so behind in regards to the era of Nintendo Switch. And then we had certain games like New Pokemon Snap that was pretty good. We had Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX that was or XD that was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. And then we have games like Scarlet and Violet. And yes, it was fun, but at the same time, like, can we have a freaking game that's not bugged or glitched to hell? And then we have a Pokemon game developed by Ilka, and that was the fourth gen remix. Like, oh my goodness, that criticism for that game is woo, my goodness. But nonetheless, Legends Arceus, I feel like is going to be the blueprint moving forward, and when it comes to creating Pokemon games, like I sincerely hope, for a person like me who criticizes Game Freak and Pokemon for the directions that they've been going with their games recently, I really hope this game's gonna be good. I truly believe it will be good. But again, it all comes down to what they do. Now, it's been pretty quiet in the rumor mill, so I haven't been reading up on a lot of things about this game. So it's pretty good. And the fact that they're taking extra time to build this game, I mean, thank God, because one of the major criticisms of these games or Pokemon games being made nowadays, or any games in particular, developers are rushing their games just to put out a trash product. It's been happening recently, and I feel like that marketing and consumerism or anti-consumerism practice at this point, it seems to apply in every single day aspect. You remember why like the Tesla Cybertrucks are being recalled because of a shitty accelerator, or Teslas are catching on fire, or just bad products being placed out without taking time to patch it or fixing it before being released into the public. And I feel like Pokemon games are having this kind of issue now, and they're not aging well. But for a game like this, it brings up another point as well. Like the reason why, and I personally think this is a good strategy to bring up closure for games like these, is because ZA, I'm going to assume it's going to bring closure to Generation 6. Because remember, we had X and Y for Nintendo 3DS, and there was supposedly a Pokemon Z in the works, but unfortunately it never saw the light of day. And Zygarde was just, this mysterious legendary Pokemon and just suddenly appeared in the Alola region Generation 7, and there was no explanation of what it was doing there. And I feel like if you did not watch the anime, you would have zero idea as to what Zygarde truly is. And that's an interesting marketing tool to use, using the anime to give more background. But again, if you don't watch the anime, Zygarde is just a whatever Pokemon. But of course, in these upcoming games, it's going to have a major plot. I'm going to assume because, the title literally says ZA. I really, truly want to believe that they're bringing closure to Generation 6 because they did Generation 6 dirty. Like in retrospect, X and Y aged horribly. There's really nothing you can do outside of those games. Maybe collecting legendary Pokemon, the usual, completing the Pokedex, doing the battle liaison facility, whatever, catching shinies, but there really wasn't a true sense of closure. And it felt like parts of the games could have been expanded on, especially in the games that Zygarde was truly functioning in, like in Sun and Moon. There were still parts in Sun and Moon that should have been expanded on, but unfortunately, it never came to be because they were working on development of the Nintendo Switch games, which were Sword and Shield and eventually Scarlet and Violet. But I digress. I really want to believe, as a fan of Pokemon, please, let's not mess this up. I don't think they will mess this up because I think they're taking the points and ideas from Legends Arceus and putting it into this next game and expanding. I really hope this game, similar to what Sun and Moon does, is to test the boundaries. Put this game to the maximum limit that the Nintendo Switch can handle, but don't lose quality. Quality for Pokemon fans has been a very big issue for many years at this point. I truly want to say, hey, let's not make sacrifices. Let's make a really good game. I think in the landscape of video games right now, like video games being, are just shit. I'm just being honest, bro. Like sports, video games, shit. Certain single player games, actually, I think single player games have been doing pretty well. And I feel like a lot of the video game audience has been catered towards, those kind of games because they're actually good and story driven and they're phenomenal games. I feel like Pokemon, has the online capabilities and the storytelling capabilities to make a gargantuan game that should be viewed as positively among everyone. I really hope they do. I'm just, please don't mess this up. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for listening to my rant. Like and subscribe. Peace.